Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite_UK. Join us for rugby insights on Ma and Nonu's new chapter at Sharks. Subscribe. About Ma and Nonu and his new role at the Sharks. What interests me most about Ma and Nonu joining the Sharks is not how many matches he will play at the age of 44, but what values he can bring to the team after more than 20 years at the highest level of rugby. Nonu has earned more than 100 caps for the All Blacks and experienced many different competitive environments throughout his career. Therefore, his experience is not limited to skills on the field. It also includes how to prepare, maintain discipline, deal with pressure, and adapt to changes throughout a professional career. Victor Matfield believes the Sharks can use Nonu's knowledge to help develop their younger players. I agree with this view. A young player can learn a great deal from books and training sessions, but having direct access to someone who has experienced major matches can provide a very different kind of education.
However, I believe the important point is that the Sharks should not see Nonu simply as a veteran player. His greater value may lie in his role as a mentor and leader. If he can help younger players better understand discipline, responsibility, competitive mentality, and professional standards, his influence could last much longer than any individual match. I am also particularly interested in Sir John Kieran's comments about Nonu's transition. After such a long career, moving into a new role is certainly a major change. An athlete who has spent most of his life competing will eventually face an important question: what will I do when I am no longer a player? In my view, this is a lesson that applies not only to Nonu but to all of us. We should not wait until one stage of our lives ends before preparing for the next. Experience needs to be accumulated and transformed into new forms of value. I also believe fans should look beyond the issue of age when considering this move. Being 44 is certainly notable, but it should not be the only factor used to evaluate Nonu. Time may affect speed and physical ability, but experience, professionalism, and leadership can continue to make a meaningful impact.
The lesson I take for myself is this: success is not only about how much we achieve personally, but also about how much we can help others improve. An athlete may no longer be at the peak of his career, but he can still become a guide for the next generation. If Nonu can fulfill that role effectively at the Sharks, I believe his value will not simply be measured by the number of matches he plays, but by how many young players become better because of the experience he passes on. For me, that is the most meaningful aspect of the next chapter of Ma and Nonu's career, moving from someone who directly created achievements to someone who helps the next generation create achievements of their own.
Looking at the bigger picture, Ma and Nonu's story at the Sharks shows that a sporting career does not necessarily have to be defined by a clear ending. There are stages when a person's value is no longer measured by how many memorable moments they create themselves, but by how they help build an environment where new moments can emerge. For the Sharks, Nonu's presence could offer a different perspective on how a team connects its past with its future. What is worth looking forward to is not only what he can contribute in the short term, but also how the experiences from such an extraordinary career can be transformed into a positive influence within the team. For fans, this is also a reminder that age does not always mean the end. Every stage of the journey has its own value, as long as we know how to adapt the way we contribute. Perhaps Ma and Nonu's new chapter will not be written through numbers or individual achievements, but through the impact he leaves on the people who share the journey with him. That is also what makes this chapter worth following. Not simply watching what a rugby legend continues to do, but seeing how a wealth of experience can be passed on to the next generation.
Thanks for watching Scrum Masters Elite_UK. Ma and Nonu's experience can inspire the next generation. Subscribe for more.